my purpose here on this earth is to help other people. And so I strive to be part of the solution. I also always say, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. My new slogan, if you will, is optimize for impact. And I'm like, I've got to do better. I can't let this stuff take me out. And so your physical and mental health, make those a priority.
Hello, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Midlife Revolution, the show for busy, empowered women ready to transform their lives. I'm your host, Coach Angie, and today I have the pleasure of introducing to you an awesome human being whom I've admired from afar for many, many years. Tiffany Albert is a dynamic leader, mentor, and advocate for community impact. With over 30 years of experience in the health insurance industry, she currently serves as the Senior Vice President of Community Relations at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan and President of the BCBSM Foundation. But her work, y'all, it extends far beyond corporate leadership. What I love about Tiffany is that she is deeply committed to mentorship, diversity, and service. And what I love most is her passion for empowering future leaders and dedicating her time to initiatives that uplift women, drive meaningful change, and strengthen communities. She serves on boards, y'all. She Michigan Women Forward to leading health and social mission initiatives. She's an influential force for equity, inclusion, and leadership development. Now let me stop talking so you can hear from her yourself. Please welcome Tiffany A. Albert. Welcome, Tiffany.
Well, thank you, Coach Angie. I'm going to call you next time I'm feeling down about myself. I feel uplifted just listening to you talk. Thank you so much for the warm.
Well, you may as well say those things to yourself. You did that. I just spoke them.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we're going to jump right into it. Your career has taken you from engineering and mathematics to executive leadership and community advocacy. And so I want to know, looking back, what pivotal moments shaped your path and how did you navigate the challenges along the way?
I would say I've been in the industry 33 years, the health insurance industry, and I've had a lot of what you call pivotal moments, a lot of opportunities to embrace challenge and change. But as I think about this question, there were two in particular that come to mind. One was very early on in my career. I started in IT and operations. So I was a programmer developer. I went on to become an operations analyst. And I had a mentor many years ago, this is like early to mid 90s, that encouraged me to take on an external customer facing role. That was something I was not interested in doing. I was very comfortable working internally. I was, just kind of in my element, I thought, with IT and operations. And she really pushed me to take on something different and to embrace the challenge. And I will tell you, I told her no at least 2 times, maybe 3. And she, as my mentor, kind of drop kicked me into the new role. She said, what you're going to do is take this role. I don't care what you think. And that was really a major change in my career trajectory. Once I became external customer facing, it afforded me opportunities to get out of the office and to meet with customers, from prospective customers, to promote our electronic data interchange. And I was terrified, but I did it because my mentor wouldn't let me out of the commitment. And that opened up a world of other opportunities for me. I would not be sitting in the seat I'm in today were I not willing to take on that change and challenge. The second opportunity that comes to mind for me is when I was tapped to become the CEO for Life Secure, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. At that point in time, I did not have P&L or profit and loss responsibility, nor had I had much exposure to board governance. Taking on that role afforded me the opportunity to do both, and that ultimately led me to my next CEO role at Blue Care Network, and then bigger opportunities to come back into the parent at Blue Cross, and ultimately led to the seat that I'm in today. So were I not willing to embrace change, take on things that I didn't know a lot about, I would not have had opportunities for other growth and learning.
I think that's awesome. And it just shows your perseverance and just powering through the fear. There's a lot of times we are fearful of the unknown. And you just, after her asking you a million times and then just making you do it, so glad that she did that, right? Because like you said, here you are today. So every leader faces moments of uncertainty. They they face moments of setbacks and or reinvention. Can you share a time when you had to pivot or push through adversity, and what lessons did you take from that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Like any other good leader, I've had my share of adversity and in some cases failure. And my belief is that you have to fail forward.
Mm.
The best example I can give you that may resonate with some of your listeners or viewers is that I lost my job at the end of 2009. I was working for a subsidiary of a large national carrier. They are a for-profit company that if I named, everyone would recognize.
Mhm.
And because they were for-profit and they had, dividends and things that they needed to meet for shareholders, every year we would do what I call racking and stacking, and we would look at our expenses, and there were aggressive goals around new sales and revenue. And 2009 was my year. I was on that rack and stack list. And so my leader came to me and said, um, we have a proposition for you. You can take on a lesser role. We're eliminating your position.
Mhm.
We are going to cut your salary in half, and you can stay and do this other thing, which was not a leadership function. It was more of an individual contributor role,
Mhm.
or we'll give you a severance package. And so I immediately accepted the severance. And I remember my leader was like, are you sure? Don't you want to go home and talk about it with your husband? I said, absolutely not. Because I didn't, my mom has always instilled in me to understand my value. And I knew that cutting my salary in half was not going to cut my workload in half. And so I immediately decided to leave the organization. The beauty in that was not too long thereafter, I was afforded an opportunity to come and work for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. And that was absolutely the best thing that could have happened in my career. In my nearly 15 years here, I have been afforded 5 opportunities, all involving growth and learning and the ability to do something that I absolutely love and am passionate about. And so, had I not had my position eliminated, I might have just still stuck around there and been stagnant and not left the organization because I was somewhat comfortable and afraid to move. And so I would say a lot of people I talked to, my friends at the time encouraged me, well, just stay and, keep the other job. At least you have some salary and you don't
Mhm.
know what's out there. And I've never been one to think I would quit a job without having another one lined up.
Mhm.
But I didn't exactly quit. They eliminated the position, but I did
Mhm.
leave without another job lined up. And,
Mhm.
God opened new doors for me that were bigger and better than that which I had.
That is so, I mean, God is just amazing, right?
Absolutely.
If we just chill and let him do what he does.
He nudged
We
me because I had been at that other organization a total of 18 years through
okay.
multiple
Wow.
acquisitions and different ownership.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, I was a little bit afraid to leave. I didn't know what it would be like to venture outside because I'd
Yeah.
grown up there doing a lot of different things. And so God nudged me out the door, shut that one, and gave me another better door.
Don't you love those nudges?
I needed that nudge. The
Yeah.
best thing that could have happened.
Yes. So you're involved in several initiatives that support women, diversity, and health advocacy. What drives your passion for giving back, and how do you encourage other leaders to do the same?
First and foremost, I have a strong belief that I am blessed to be a blessing. And
Yeah.
so, they say to whom much is given, much is
Just
required.
required.
And so, because I have been blessed in my life to have wonderful mentors, because um, I've not been placed in the roles that I've been placed in or achieved anything in my life without having someone help me get there.
Yeah.
I believe I have a responsibility to pay it forward. And so I am also a strong believer that my purpose here on this earth is to help other people. And so
Absolutely.
I strive to be part of the solution. I also
Mhm.
always say if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And so I am consistently looking for ways to help people, to uplift others, to connect the dots, to make introductions, to
Yeah.
figure out how I can leave something better than
Mhm.
when I found it. And in my new team, I was teasing last week, my new slogan, if you will, is optimize for impact, because I've been fortunate to work with fantastic people in this role and others previously. I've always inherited wonderful teams. And so, how do we come together
Mhm.
to build upon that, which is already great? And so, we're striving to optimize for impact. I would also encourage other leaders to do the same. Figure out what you are most passionate about,
Yeah.
and then, authentically embrace that. But you, as a leader, have a responsibility to do more and to pay it forward as well.
I love that. I, passion, bringing passion into your work life.
Mhm.
I think that is very important, and it allows your employees, if you will, to connect with you more. You seem more human to them,
Absolutely.
because you are in a role where people may view you as not necessarily not human, but untouchable. So just to know that you're coming in the door with your slogan and living out your slogan within the corporate world is really amazing. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for that. I'm not even on your team, but I thank you for that.
We're all part of the same team, Coach Angie. It's all.
Yeah, we are. Well, your career is incredibly demanding, but I know that who we are outside of work is just as important. So, what are some of your personal passions or hobbies that bring you joy and keep you grounded outside of your corporate responsibilities?
So I'm actually really fortunate because what I am most passionate about also happens to align with my role here at Blue
Oh,
Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Now, in community relations, I feel like this takes all the things that I enjoyed the most over the course of my career and
mhm,
affords me the opportunity to do those things, ensuring that people that are underserved or underrepresented have a voice and that they have access to quality, affordable health care, and that we are working in all 83 counties, all communities across the state to ensure that we're taking care of all of our Michiganians. That said, I love volunteering. I would
mhm,
do that if it weren't my job. I like to just be engaged in the community. I love getting out and meeting new people.
mhm,
I sit on a number of boards professionally, but I also serve in other organizations outside of work, like the Links Incorporated,
mhm,
Jack and Jill of America
mhm,
Incorporated, and I'm also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
mhm.
Those are things that I just love doing. I also generally like travel. I love meeting new people. I love entertaining, going new places. And then as far as what keeps me grounded, I am
Mhm,
also incredibly family oriented. And I have
mhm.
three children, ages 25, 18, and 12. So I have a
Okay.
child in each decade. And they have a way of keeping you humble. Like I am just
Mhm.
mom when I get home, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Mom, can you take me here? Mom, can you
Yeah.
take me? Mom, what's for dinner?" So I would say my kids keep me grounded,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned your kids. I've one son, and I'm always just all over my family, just sometimes the biggest way, the smallest ways too. Like he wanted some tea one night, and I made him tea, but I put cayenne pepper in it because I always have to do something extra.
Okay,
And so he says to me, "Ma, why don't you stop being Coach Angie all the time?"
that is who you are.
That's who I am, baby.
So to that point, though, I think it's really important for all of us to just show up as our authentic self, be the
Yeah.
best version of yourself that you can be.
Mhm.
But to that end, what people see and hear from me in the work environment, and that which
Mhm.
they would see if they met me out in the community or at
Right.
home, I'm the same person. You know,
Mhm.
I don't change it up. It's what you see is what you get.
Yeah, and I have definitely noticed that about you in our interactions. So thank you for that too. That's very important. So managing extensive professional responsibilities alongside community service and family life can be challenging. So what strategies have you found effective in maintaining work-life balance?
So first and foremost, I would say you have to be intentional about
Mhm,
maintaining balance. It is not something for me anyway that has just come automatically. I have to
mhm.
work at it. I would also like to give a shout out and credit to the most amazing executive assistant, Jennifer Bursloff.
Aw, shout
We've
out
worked together for, I
Jennifer.
had another Jennifer before her. Jennifer Mannion was
I
also
remember.
fantastic. So the two Jennifers have taken good care of me over the last probably decade now.
Mhm,
And that is, my schedule can be very challenging.
mhm,
I may have, I frequently have overlapping meetings. I could have three or four things going on at any given time. And so
mhm,
Jennifer has been very deliberate in scheduling time with me every week. We sit down for generally an hour, and we
mhm,
go through the calendar and we look out several weeks. Minimally, we're looking a month ahead, and we
mhm,
take into account both professional and personal obligations or commitments, I would say. And my personal commitments are important to me, just like my work commitments. So if my
mhm,
son has an orchestra concert, and I know I need to be at the school at a certain time, I'm going to build that into my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter Alexis just recently got accepted to the University of Michigan, and we're scheduling time to do that next
Mm-hmm.
campus visit and
Yeah.
to make sure she's got her housing submitted and things like that. So those things go on my calendar also.
Mm-hmm.
I also will honor commitments to myself, because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
firm believer you can't pour from an empty vessel. And if I am
Exactly.
not well physically, mentally, emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually, I'm not going to be any good to anybody else. Now, I might be able to run on fumes for a minute, but once I am exhausted, I'm not any good to anybody. And so I
Right.
do put time intentionally on my calendar for myself. Maybe I'm taking a half a day on a Friday
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to go, I'm going to go to a spa appointment, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go get my nails done or get my hair
Mm-hmm.
done, or just anything. Maybe I'm just going to take a nap because I'm
Right.
tired. Or I schedule time to think strategically, because if you allow it, your calendar will quickly be filled with all sorts of other meetings and things of that nature. And you just don't take time to take care of you. And so I am very deliberate about scheduling. And I also, just like anybody else, I try to organize and prioritize according to those things that are most critical or time sensitive, or,
Mm-hmm.
um, those things that are maybe less important. I will push those out further. And then I've had to learn how to say no, because I
Yeah.
used to just accept everything from everyone. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll mentor you. And then my old Jennifer told me one time when I was still at BCN,
Mm-hmm.
she said, "You're mentoring 25 people at the same time. Did you know that?" And I said, "Oh, wow, really?" And so we had to prioritize and think about
Yeah.
those people that were most committed to the mentorship, that were willing to
Mm-hmm.
put in the work, and then other people, we kind of had to let them go to the wayside. So
Yeah.
just being intentional and
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing is the key.
Yeah, and that word prioritize, that was my motto for 2024, but I've brought it over to 2025 because so many women I work with, they have a really tough struggle, whether they're in corporate leadership, running a business, or managing a household,
Yeah.
prioritizing themselves in their own life. And I always break it down like that. You have all of this going on, but where are you prioritized in your own life?
Yes,
You
you
have
need
to
to be on your
prioritize.
own list. You
Yes,
have
you got
to,
to be
like,
on your.
oftentimes we are either at the bottom of our list or we're not on
Mhm.
our list.
Mhm.
And I had to learn to put myself on the list and
Yeah.
to bump myself up every now and again so I could continue to help others.
Yeah, because prioritizing health and self care, it's the first thing to go for a lot of us because we're always worried about other things and other people and family and this and that. So, through my wellness programs, I help women redefine that balance in a way that fuels their success instead of burning them completely out. And I love that you are doing that for yourself and you understand, because that's half the battle is awareness, self awareness that you need to be prioritizing yourself because nothing matters when you're laid on a bed sick. What are you thinking about? Getting well. That's it.
Absolutely. And
That is
I've been
it.
there too. And in the spirit of transparency, in
Mm-hmm.
2022, fall of 2022,
Mm-hmm.
my blood pressure had skyrocketed and I ended up in the hospital. And
Oh,
I
wow.
recognized that I was in tears in the emergency room. And I'm like, I've got to do better. I
Yeah.
can't let this stuff take me out. And so
Yeah,
your physical and mental health, make those a priority.
absolutely. So the demands in leadership can be intense. You just let
Mhm.
us know that you were in the hospital with with high blood pressure. So it often takes a toll on our mental and physical health. So um give me more ways that you stay grounded and maintain your well-being. I know you mentioned getting your nails done, taking a nap, but what is it that really makes you happy? Because that's what I tell women. The thing that you're going to continue doing in terms of being active is what makes you happy. So what makes you happy? I know being in the community, but being physically active. Is there anything that you love to do? Dance, bowl, anything?
It's funny you say that because I need to be on the Coach Angie program. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am
Glad to
not.
have you.
I cannot lie to you, Coach Angie, and tell you like I have this wonderful fitness regimen.
Mhm.
I'm trying to do better every day.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
do have a home gym, and we've
Mhm.
got a Peloton rowing machine. We got the bike. We got a Stairmaster.
Mhm.
Stepper. We
All the
got
things.
a treadmill. We have all the things. And my favorite amongst those is the treadmill because I do
Uh-huh.
like to get on there and just walk at a nice clip. I'm a power
Mhm.
walker,
Mhm.
and I will put on music on my headphones, and I
I
have
love
a
it.
walking playlist. There's probably like 80s and 90s music because I'm
Mhm.
I'm seasoned person, and it's kind of like fast paced. I'm not even gonna tell you what's on my playlist, but it gets me pumped up. And then I will usually set it for like 30 minutes and say, oh, I'm gonna get the minimum in, and then as I'm kind of working through, my music's getting better, I might bump it up to 45 minutes, and next thing you know, it's an
Nice.
hour. And so in terms of physical activity, I like to power walk. Every now and again, I'll throw a jog in there. I do like to do other activities with my kids, though. So, like if they
Yeah.
wanted to, ride bikes or go, my son is more of the bike rider than the girls, or go bowling. Or I used to walk around the mall. I have limited my shopping excursions in 2025, so that's as much. I'm not getting as much cardio from shopping now. Um, but I just like to be out and about. Like if it's a nice day, like it is today, I like to get out and just kind of
Such a
walk
beautiful day.
around,
Yeah.
people watch, anything that's outdoors and fun. I don't mind it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for letting me know that about you. So when we do get together, we're going to be outside. What
Okay.
what advice would you offer to young professionals, especially women and minorities, aspiring to leadership roles in the healthcare sector?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say, for one, you need to be willing to work hard. You are not going to grow in life or leadership unless you put in the work. And as our CEO, Trisha Keith, often says, the world belongs to those who show up.
Right.
You really need to be willing to roll up your sleeves,
Mhm.
accept challenging work, sometimes take on experiences or jobs and things that other people don't want. I'm not going to name any specific roles that I've had, but I
Yeah.
have raised my hand for more work because I had capacity
Mhm.
and been afforded opportunities or jobs to do that other people scratched their heads and looked at me like I was crazy. Like, well, why would you do that? Nobody wants to do that. But those are the things that help me grow the most,
Mhm.
excuse me. I would say you should be willing to take lateral moves. Everything is
Mhm.
not about a promotion
Yeah.
or even making more money. I think if you're willing to put in the work, those things will
Mhm.
come to you eventually,
Mhm.
but you have to be willing to do the work.
Mhm.
You need to do your current job well.
Mhm.
There are always going to be aspects of your role that you don't love, or they're less than your favorite things to do, but you
Yeah.
have to do your current job well, and I mean all of the job, before anyone's going to consider giving you additional opportunities. I think it's important for you to be a strong communicator, both written and
Mhm.
verbal. You need to build your network. And
Mhm.
so, although we have an opportunity to work remotely in a lot of instances, regardless of industry, there are lots of people I
Mhm.
know that are still working
Mhm.
remotely, at least a couple days a week, right?
Right.
And sometimes you have to show up. You have to have your
Mhm.
face in the place. Make that extra trek into the office so you have an opportunity to connect with people.
Mhm.
Go to those after our work
Yeah.
groups, or
Yeah.
like we have the Leadership Development Association here at Blue Cross Blue
Yeah.
Shield of Michigan. Go to the LDA meetings. Don't just sign up for the virtual one at lunch, but go to the ones that are after hours.
Yeah.
Make a point to challenge yourself to meet new people while you're there. Follow up with people. Reach out and ask for one-on-ones. Believe in yourself. That's a big one. Denounce the imposter syndrome. I know too many women, in particular women of color,
Mhm.
that talk themselves out of opportunities because they feel like they have to be perfect, or they have to meet all 10 of the criteria in order to even be considered or to apply for an opportunity.
Mhm.
Don't sell yourself short.
Mhm.
Recognize that you are stronger than what you probably realize, and just go for it. The
Yeah.
worst they can do is tell you no, but
Mhm.
then you've at least planted a seed and let people know you're interested in growth and
Yeah.
learning.
I love that. Yeah. I was invited to a podcast the other day where the subject matter was why women of color, why we don't ask for help.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to put yourself out there. We are not expected to know everything. You're not expected to do everything by yourself. We have teams for a reason.
Right.
Ask questions, ask for help. I had to learn the hard way because I was a person that didn't want to bother anybody. I just was going to
Right.
do it myself. I'd figure it out eventually. And
Hmm.
then at some point, I would get to a stage where I had to ask for help because I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, Lord, the deadline's in 3 days
Right.
and we still need to get this done. And so I've learned to ask for help sooner than what I used
Hmm.
to do. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to admit that you don't know something.
Hmm.
Um, just communication again is going to be key. Communicating to
Super
someone like, I
key.
could use some support in this. And don't feel like you got to suffer in silence.
Yeah, I love that. Don't suffer in silence. It's okay to not know. It's okay.
Mhm. And it's
Uh,
okay to say no to certain things too, right?
yeah,
If
yeah.
your plate is already full and overflowing and
hmm
you don't have capacity to take on
hmm
something, you can say, I'm not sure I can take that on, or I've got these 12 tasks already and you're asking me to do these additional four things. Can
hmm
you help me to prioritize? What else can I take off my plate in order to get this thing done?
Yeah, I love that. I love that answer. So you've dedicated your career to not just professional success, but also meaningful service in the community. Thank you for that again. What legacy do you hope to leave behind, both in your industry and the lives of those you've mentored?
I would simply say I was a Girl Scout growing up, and I
hmm
was taught to leave the world a better place than that which I found it. And I take that seriously in every aspect of my life, both personally and professionally. I do
hmm
pride myself on being able to help other people, either uplifting them, pouring into them, making meaningful connections. I like to say I'm a connector, I connect the dots on people and work, and just going back to something I said earlier, I want to optimize for impact. And so
Yeah.
when my time on this earth is done and I'm gone, I would
Mhm.
hope people would look back and reflect and say, Tiffany was a good person. She showed up as her authentic self, and she really prided herself on making other people stronger and better.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'll be first in line to say that.
Thank you.
Because I am one who's fearless in approaching people. As you know, years ago I approached you know who I'm talking about
I,
when I put together the program for you all.
I'm trying to
Ken
think.
Dallafor.
Oh
When I
yeah,
when I
Ken.
approached
Yes,
yeah,
I'm trying to remember who it was.
yeah, when I
Yeah.
approached Ken Dallafor, I'm just not afraid because I do believe that we all are human, and
Mhm.
I think sometimes you all leaders who are on another level, they welcome that. They don't want to be seen as the person that's not approachable. Like, treat me like I'm human because I am human.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I and we've had interactions, so I just thought I'd shoot my shot, and I just appreciate you saying yes.
Well, I'm glad that you are confident enough to do that and reach out. A lot of people, unfortunately, are not. And I know when I mentor people, I always let them know that those of us that are in leadership roles are not altogether different from anybody else that's an individual contributor. We get up, we put our pants on one leg at a time. We all had to start somewhere. We've all had opportunities for growth over the course of our careers. Nobody just like poof woke up and they were a senior
Mhm.
leader, right?
Yeah,
And I should speak for myself. I pride myself on being accessible,
yeah,
and I encourage people to reach out to other leaders as well and ask for a conversation or time to just chat with them about whatever it is they're interested in, because we welcome that. Oftentimes,
yeah,
we want people to approach us and share with us. I learn as much, I think, from my mentees as they might learn from me,
yeah.
because they bring a different perspective and feedback loop, and just don't allow anyone's title to intimidate you.
I agree.
Check the title at the door.
I totally agree because you should know. I asked Trisha too.
That's good. And if I know Trisha, she's probably going to try and figure out a way to make some time. Her
Well,
calendar is slammed right now.
I believe, this is probably just not the right time, but she was very gracious in her
Hmm.
response, and having, I think his name is Don,
Don
respond to
Shell.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
they already have their schedule set. And so maybe in the future. So I'll receive that. But, she could have just not said anything. So I appreciate,
Absolutely.
yeah, I
She's
really
very
appreciate.
authentic, and
Yeah.
I can tell you from working more closely with her as part of the senior leadership team now, she is on the move. She is an Energizer bunny,
Yes, I
and
can
she has
tell. she
lots of
lost she
commitment.
lost weight, and that weight got her like
She's fit, yes, but she has
yes, she
lots of
is fit.
commitments internally and externally, and she is
Yeah.
out. I know she had her calendar is really stacked, and so to the extent that she can work it in later, I would expect she would try to do that. But
Yeah, no, I appreciate the reply,
yeah, yes.
and I'll probably follow up once she's settled, because really I caught her where she's just right in.
Oh
You
yeah.
too. I caught you too because you're in a new position as well. But I just thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to me today. And I want you to go out here and enjoy this beautiful weather.
I'm going to try that. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be part of your program, and
Yes.
I thank
You're
you
my
for
11th interview. Thank you.
okay. Lucky number 11, right?
Yes, yes. All right. Well, enjoy your day, Tiffany.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Angie. See
Bye
ya.
bye.
Bye bye.